Hi and welcome to cheekyricho Cooking's cheesecake cooked in the Tefal Cook4Me. That's right, we're going to be making a dessert in the Tefal Cook4Me. The ingredients are in the recipe box below. Here they are all listed. Here they're all at room temperature. I can't stress that strongly enough. So let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is give our biscuits a bit of a hard time. Now, I've made quite a few desserts in the Tefal Cook4Me, and the other day I bought these biscuits and I dropped them. So I thought, what am I going to do with these? I'll take them home, give them a harder time than they already got out of the checkout, and turn them into a crumb crust. Now you can do this in the food processor if you like. What's the point? Really? Rolling pin's going to do exactly the same thing that I started at the checkout. Now you have to bear with me. Voice is a bit on the ordinary side because I'm overcoming a bit of a chest infection. So now we're just going to melt a bit of butter here. I've got salted butter here. I like the salt in the crust. Use unsalted. If that's your thing, that you're probably going to end up wanting to put salt in it anyway. So I'm just going to melt this in the microwave for about 30 seconds and I'll see when I come back. Okay, crumbs into a mixing bowl. Just recycle the bag there. That's ready for the rubbish now. With enough butter to make a crumb crust that looks a bit like sand. So you can always add more. And we've lined a small spring from cake pan with bacon. We're going to press this into that pan and put it into the fridge to chill. I'm going to add just a little more butter. That'll do. You're looking about 80 grams of butter there to 125 grams of biscuits. We're not coming right up the sides with this cheesecake crumb crust because we're going to give it almost like a New York feel. Use our itty bitty pan. Give it a light spray, rice bran oil here, doesn't matter what oil you're using. Tip our crust in, don't worry about washing the bowl. Why would you? Tip it all in there. Press it firmly into the base and about a third to a halfway up the sides, and then pop it into the freezer to chill. You scrape everything out of the bowl, you don't have to wash it, we're not going to be beating egg white or anything. It's clean enough to start again. Okay, press this around, and the butter will set quite firmly and not dislodge when you add our filling. Now I'm just going to sprinkle that with a little bit of our cinnamon. By the time that's all mixed around and sorted out, you'll have the cinnamony sort of flavour on it as well. So probably should have gone into the mix, but I'm sort of unwell in case you hadn't checked by the voice. Just push it to the sides, like I say, half to a third the way up. I like to give it a bit of a firm pat down on the top, so just push it down like so and then push it back out again. And you'll see what I mean. That crust, see, it's sort of evened up the top of it there. Go right around with it, otherwise it's going to be too crumbly and it won't be a defined line, which is what I'm after. Okay. Looking pretty fancy, isn't it? Now that's going to cut beautifully and release from that paper quite easily. Okay, in the fridge we go. Okay, we've got our room temperature cream cheese here now. We're just going to add that. You can see how quite soft it is. We're sending in our cream as well, our carton of our cream cheese. Our sugar goes in now. Our vanilla extract. Now there's a lot of vanilla extract there, but it'll give it a delicious flavour. And don't use that cheap vanilla essence stuff. Use the extract, it's so much nicer. Now we're just going to whip this until it's nice and smooth and creamy before we add our flour and our eggs one at a time. So with our beater in there, and just whip it slowly to start with until it's nice and smooth and creamy. You don't want to aerate it, there's no reason to do that. Make sure you use room temperature ingredients because if you don't, you're going to have lumps, especially if you put in cold eggs because they will definitely make it freeze up. Gorgeous fresh free range eggs there, look how thick the whites are. Okay, just on the slower setting, we're going to tip in our flour and our eggs one at a time. You can see how lovely and smooth and creamy that is. Until this is well incorporated. That's the end of our ingredients. A little bit more speed there just to get it all going. We're heating up a bit of water to put into the bottom of our Cook4Me, which you don't need to do, but it will facilitate a quicker process. And then we're only going to cook it for 15 minutes on the quick cooking function. Let it cool inside the Cook4Me. Don't release the lid, and then we're going to spread it with some sour cream mixed with some sugar. I actually like it with brown sugar, but in the interest of keeping this a little authentic, we're going to just use caster sugar on this particular occasion. It'll give it this nice tart, this sweet, sticky, creamy sort of sensation. And then it goes in the fridge. Now, I'm not going to tell Richo that I've even made this because he'll be dipping into it before it's chilled, and that is not what I want him to do. So, look at that. ready to go now. We'll just pour that back into our crumb crust. Like, how fast was that? Easy peasy. Okay, I've just put a litre of warm water into the Cook4Me and put it onto the browning function. We're just going to remove the excess from this beater and resist the urge to lick that better because this is just so inviting. In fact, I don't know if I will resist the urge. You might have to excuse me for a few seconds while I sort this beater. And you can see how dollopable it is. Look at that, not a lump in sight, just an odd air bubble. Yummy, yum, yum, yum. Okay, out of the fridge, and we're just going to fill this now. It'll rise up higher than the biscuit base, but that doesn't matter because that was actually the idea that I was after. Give it a little tap down on the bench to make sure that we've got any excess air bubbles out of it. Because it's being virtually steamed in the pressure cooker, and you're going to have a luscious, succulent, dense, too good for words. Where's any of this, guys? It's beautiful. Now we're going to cook this for 15 minutes and then leave it cooling in the Tefal Cook4Me. That's all you have to do. Give me a little tap. You may get a little bit of moisture come down and drops down on top of it. Tap that up with some paper towel later on. I don't really want to cover it because that's going to compromise the little collar that I've made. Now I've put the little trivet that goes onto the bottom of the steamer basket into the little holes there, and that will give me that much height out of the water so the cheesecake isn't actually sitting in water. Now it's a little bit of a wrestle to get this in because of the what do you call that, springform thing here. So if we slide it in and then carefully drop it down, ta-da! Now, you are not going to be able to use the handles to lift this up. I'm just going to bring the Cook4Me over to you now so you can see what's happening. It's having a little bubble-a-thon there. I'll turn off the browning actually. Stop the browning. Yep. Okay, now we're going to lower this in here. I have no idea really how to do that, but it's going to happen somehow without burning myself. Carefully, carefully. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's out of the water. Can you see that? It's out of the water, and now we're going to set it for 15 minutes. So we just close the lid and set it for 15 minutes. Okay, it's well and truly cooled now. We're just going to lift it out, dab off any excess water, and chill it overnight. Wobbly in the center. It smells really nice. Can't wait. Okay, the handles are cool enough to pick up. We just lift the whole thing out. Empty the water out, and we can spread it with our sour cream and sugar now, and that will be a nice coating tomorrow. Okay, we've just got about 30 grams of caster sugar here, to which we're going to add about 60 grams of sour cream. Mix it all around and then just spread it on top of that while it's still just warm, and get it into the fridge. And that will just melt and fill up any little hips and hollows in there. A good stir around. The sour cream's got a sort of a tart, creamy texture and flavour to it. The sugar will sweeten it, and we'll just spread it over the top of the whole thing. Just a little spatula-y thing here. We're just going to gently spread that over the top and let it sort of melt into it. It'll reset again in the fridge, so don't worry about that. Leave the paper and the pan in situ until it's ready to serve. Probably a little bit much there, but it's going to save serving it with extra cream tomorrow. That'll level out. Okay, into the fridge we go. Okay, our cheesecake has chilled overnight. We've got a container of hot water here for our knife, and that will make nice clean cuts. We're just going to remove our collar, and we'll tear this down because I actually stapled this to keep it all together. It'll just peel off quite easily. Beauty of using baking paper. And then we're just going to slide that off its little base and set it onto our serving plate. It's quite firm, as you can see. Centre that up a bit. Now, knife into our hot water, give it a wipe off and slice into our cake. Okay, wipe our knife so that we don't foul the next slice. Into our hot water again. Dry it off because you don't want it all gooey. And there you have a gorgeous, moist slice of Tefal Cook4Me cheesecake. Check that out, yummo. Hope you enjoyed this little cooking demonstration. If you'd like to see more interesting recipes and ideas, just check out our Cheeky Richo cooking channel, and don't forget to please subscribe, and do come back and visit us again soon. We've got so much more to show you, and we're uploading lots of videos. And thank you very much for watching. Cheeky Richo's Tefal Cook4Me New York Cheesecake. Thanks for watching. Have a little taste, shall we? Yeah. Oh, so soft. So soft. Oh, so nice. creamy, really tender, little tart bite of the sour cream on the top of it, and the crunchy biscuit base. Yummo. Thanks for watching.